So for this dish, we really only need a few simple ingredients. So we're gonna have I'm gonna make a big batch. So we're gonna have our pasta, and I like to get the rigatoni kind. You can see they're kind of like big circular ones. There we go, focused. And then I'm going to put in a bunch of tomatoes. See, we have a bunch. And then main ingredient that we need is feta cheese. So I buy these like big blocks of feta that I put into this dish. So let me grab the pan and we'll get started on this. And apologies for the messy kitchen. We're incorporating another household right now, so things are a little bit messy here, but I'm also going to get out some. Usually I do olive oil, but today we don't have any, so I'm going with avocado oil. And I have my big pan, and we're going to get started on this. This recipe is one of my favorites to make, and it is so easy. So I will start by getting out our tomatoes here. And I love to cook. I cook actually a lot. I like to cook all kinds of different dishes. Like, it really could be anything. If I find a recipe online that looks good to me, like, I will cook it. Doesn't matter what it is, I'll make it. And I'll make it work. So we're going to put both of our things of tomatoes here into our dish. And I know I should wash them, but I don't normally, so it is what it is. But anyway, the other day I did make a Moroccan dish. It was like Moroccan chicken with carrots and olives and I forget what else was in there, but it came out really, really good, and I would totally make it again. I'm gonna add it to my recipe list. Although I'm a sucker for making new recipes, like I will make something delicious and then I'll never make it again because I love making new things. Like I like finding new recipes and trying something new every time. It's always a surprise. I would say like 90% of the time it turns out good. So I got my cup of oil that I'm just adding into the tomatoes here. So I'm just going to cover my tomatoes in oil so that when they're in the oven, they don't burn because they're all covered in the oil. So that's why we make sure to do a lot. And I definitely prefer olive oil, but we're going to have to make do today. Now we're adding in our salt. And again, I just kind of, for this recipe, I'm really good at making it. So I usually just kind of wing it. Okay, and I got my salt in there. I'm actually going to add a little bit more of this Mediterranean sea salt because it tastes extra good. This recipe definitely needs a lot of salt. And then I can't forget the pepper too. Salt and pepper. It's always important in every recipe. But yeah, I love to cook. I'm always in the kitchen, and I honestly think I want to get into like baking some more stuff because baking can be really fun, but baking is a very exact science. Like, you can't mess up the ingredients or you're going to mess up the recipe. Versus cooking, sometimes you can, I just wing it. I put some salt and put some pepper, and it'll all turn out good. Okay, we got our stuff mixed now, so I'm going to be adding our cheese, and it comes in this like liquid, so I have to figure out how to get the cheese out. Let me open these first. And I spilled the liquid. Oops. Sometimes it can get a little messy in here. Alright. And I'm just gonna reach in and grab out our little cheese blocks. And I like to stick them right in the middle of our pan with the tomatoes, because this is all going to go into the oven. Make room for this other one. Alright, so everything is looking good. Now I'm just going to add a few more spices on top. And I'm over here picking out some basil for sure. Basil is essential in this recipe. And then I also, personally, I like to add a little bit of oregano, but I have to find it in our big spice cabinet over here. We have a lot of spices. Where is the oregano? Alright. I have our spices, oregano and basil. So, again, I'm not even measuring for this. I'm just sprinkling it on. And I usually put more basil than oregano. And now, one last touch, we're going to add pepper onto our top of our feta that's going to cook. And now it's time to put it in the oven. So I have already set our oven for 400 degrees. And so it's ready for me to put it in. Now it's in the oven and we're going to wait about 30 minutes and then we're going to raise the temperature to 415. So I'll be back in a little bit. Okay guys, my alarm is going off. It's time to raise the temperature to 415. Let me check on it. Oh, that's hot. Well, it is looking really good. It's like bubbling. I'll show you guys a close-up. Alright, so we're going to check on it. Ooh, look at that. It's bubbling. Looks so good. But we do need to raise it up a little more so that we can really get all the tomatoes to pop, because this is not the type of dish where you want to be biting into a whole cherry tomato. We want them to kind of just be incorporated in. So yeah, we'll raise it up and we'll see. And now we're going to let it go for another 10 or 15 minutes and we'll be back. And I almost forgot an important part. We have to cook the noodles. So I'm gonna get that started. Is that bigger? I can't tell. I don't know. I'm just gonna pick an even bigger one. It's big. Alright, now let's fill this up. And I don't know if you can hear me, but we have like a touch faucet. So instead of like turning it on like that, you just, it's fun. But we're gonna fill up our water like, I don't know, a little more than halfway for these noodles. And we'll get it on the stove and cooking. And then I think it'll be perfect timing for our pasta, which is going to come out in about 10-15 minutes. Let me set that timer actually. Alexa, set timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
10 minutes, just so we can check on it and see how it's looking in about that time. And back to the stove. And I'm just gonna get this on. Whew. That was scary. Alright. And I'm gonna add a little bit of salt to our water to make it boil faster. At least that's what I've heard. And get our noodles ready. But we gotta wait for it to boil first, so we're not quite ready. usually for breakfast, I'm not a big cook. Like, I'll get up and I'll be like, I just want to eat like a banana, or like I'll put like a frozen waffle in the toaster. Like, I don't do anything fancy usually for breakfast because the morning I'm just like, I'm hungry. I just woke up. I'm tired, you know. So I'll do something easy and small. But once it comes around lunchtime, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to eat something like good, like something really delicious. And lunch and dinner is usually when I'm cooking like some elaborate meals. Today we're making it for lunch, and I am excited because I actually didn't eat anything for breakfast today. So this is going to be an amazing meal to start with my day with. So our noodles are done, and it's time to drain the the water out of the noodles, and then we'll add all of the rest of the stuff in. So let's see, it's too hot for me to carry alone, but we have our noodles. And I should use a strainer, but I'm being lazy. And I'm going to grab one in a second, probably. I love to cook, but sometimes I can be a lazy cook. Okay. Here we go. I got this buddy. Draining all of this water. Alright. Back into our pot. So we're gonna mix it all in there, and I still want a little bit of water, so I didn't really like make sure it was super dry. And I'll put you up a little higher so you can see what we're doing here. So got all of this good and mixed, and we're actually gonna add it into the big pot because this little one is too small to fit all the noodles and the pasta. So we're gonna mix it in the big one. And luckily this is actually cooled off, so I can touch this pan. Let's see. Maybe not that side. Okay. Get a towel. And then I really just pour it in. Alright, now this is going in the sink to be washed. I made a little bit of a mess. That's good. And we will mix. So really, this dish is pretty much done. Oh, that looks so delicious. I'll show you guys close up. So delicious, and you'll see the tomatoes aren't like full tomatoes, they're all just like skins, and it's created this kind of like sauce, cheesy tomatoey sauce with the noodles here. So this is so good. Time to serve it up. So I'm serving myself up a nice bowl of noodles. Time to try these noodles. Look at that. So good. We're going to get a tomato in here too. That's just so good. It's got the perfect like tanginess and saltiness, and I could eat noodles any day. So the combination of all that is just to die for. I'm so excited. This is like my favorite meal. That was the whole meal, so I hope that you guys enjoyed cooking with me, and let me know if you would try making this sometime, or if this is something you would like. I think it's delicious, but I will see you guys soon. Bye!
実践的な英会話を短期間で効率よく身につけたい方は、いろんなアメリカ人の生の英会話を学ぶのが一番です。英会話教材 This is 英会話では、アメリカ人約150人の生の英会話を紹介しています。概要欄に紹介していますので、ぜひ見てください。 それでは次回をお楽しみに。